Yo, what's up? The long-awaited and even longer delayed update is finally here. And as you can see, it brought some graphical issues. Well, it brought some graphical improvements, but also new graphical issues and also other improvements. Now, one of the most obvious one you might see is this explanation feature. Now, every player, especially new players, can click on the stuff and get explanations for it. Now, this is good. I've read a few of those, and the explanations are medium quality regarding, well, giving quick explanations for to new players, but it's still better than nothing. And since the game is now, I think, 5 to 6 years old, and even longer in the making, finally the game has a feature that literally every new game usually comes out with. Meaning explanations in the main menu. Yes, very much needed. It's ridiculous that it wasn't implemented in the game earlier, especially since many things are confusing and I constantly see how new players complain that they don't understand features of the game. Yeah, that's finally here. Another thing is that if you look at your friends list and someone's playing, you can see where he's playing and you can theoretically join into the battle. So this is something interesting. Though you still don't get in-game chat and in-game communication, like not in the main menu, and you can't talk with enemies and stuff like that. Now, for those wondering why is it so, very simple. Darkflow knows half the player base are 12-year-old soy boys who will cry and complain at their Karen mothers when someone says a bad word on the internet about them. And Darkflow doesn't want to get spammed with 1 million complaints every month. So that's the reason why you basically will never get in-game communication or real chat in Enlisted. Because Darkflow is also too cowardly to just tell the players, alright, if you don't like something, block the person. That's it. Like, block the person, everything's fine. So yeah. Then another question I receive quite often regarding friends lists. I usually accept every request. It would be impolite to decline, but I can basically not play with anyone. Because I play only very few maps and I leave most of the maps I don't like. And as long as we don't have map picking, I literally can't just log in with other people. If I do it from Discord onwards, but not right now. Though, in the near future, once we finally get map picking, it should be the next big update, I will start streaming and I will also play more often with other people, because then we can actually avoid the problem of stupidly bad maps. Alright, then, the Battle Pass is still going on though, for 1.5 days or 2 days, so after this, yeah, we'll get the new Battle Pass with new weapons, new stuff and so on. So you still have some time to get your, well, missions done. But you, well, also have your last 2 days of getting these gold weapons. So if you still have some gold tokens, which as you can see I don't have any, you can use them now for these weapons. Also, I made a guide explaining the best weapons for every nation, which I strongly recommend everyone to watch who hasn't done yet, because this is very confusing. I needed to make this guide for myself also to know which weapons are actually good or not, because it's just, especially if you look at other nations, it's extremely hit or miss with all these guns. Even some guns that look very good are actually not that good. Alright, and some guns that look underwhelming are actually extremely good and strong. So yeah, that. And then, let's go to the main parts. The change logs. Now, summed up, we got some graphical improvements. First and foremost, DLSS 4 support for those who don't know what it is. If you're using an NVIDIA graphics card, the biggest GPU graphics card manufacturing company in the world, second biggest AMD, something like almost all graphic cards in the world are made by these two companies at the moment. If you have an NVIDIA card, of the RTX version, meaning every card that's 6 years or younger is an RTX card. You get your DLSS software updates every couple of months, every couple of years, and every update makes your graphics card basically better because it enables the card to do things either more efficient or gives it new features. Now, in game, you also have the DLSS feature. Problem is, every game needs to be coded specifically in a way that it can actually use these features. And Enlisted finally can use it. Yeah, so this is a big advantage. What does it mean for players? It means that you basically, depending on your card, you will get either better graphics or more FPS, or both. So this is basically a win. I'm going to show you a bit later how to actually do it. Then you also get cinematic effects, so basically every Facebook Karen's favorite filters. You get, well, you get this sun flare effect, you get chromatic aberration and other things. Looks quite good. Also the games, I played 3 quick games to see what the game looks like now and how it plays. Yeah, it looks a bit better, and yeah, the light effects look a bit more realistic, which is quite good. Keep in mind, I have a 6-year-old graphic card myself, currently, yet still, because it's apparently too much asked for in Germany to get access to new cards, because you barely can buy the new ones, because they're not available. Yeah, so, fuck my life in that regard. But still, even that, since Enlisted is quite well optimized, it still works well. And most of you have better graphic cards than me, so your game should look better than mine. Then, AI improvements, well, pathfinding especially, how bots behave and follow you, or hopefully not follow you, and hopefully not jump in front of you, or block you while you're building stuff. Yeah, there's a long list of maps that allegedly got fixed and improved with AI. Now, here's the industry wisdom about AI. 99% of the times when you hear the word AI, it's not AI. It's literally just either a lie or it's just an extreme overstatement. Because there's the old saying among software engineers, what's called AI today was called normal high quality coding in the 90s. Yep, so literally everything is called AI now. If you just do a basic if you put 50 lines of code together, everyone calls it AI now. It basically means Enlisted that bots hopefully behave better. And most of the time it means that parts of the map get fixed. It's not that the bots get smarter or the AI gets improved. No, it's literally that the maps get fixed, because maps usually have some bullshit or problems or stupid corners where bots get stuck and so on. So that hopefully isn't the case anymore. Keep in mind, this is basically like AI improvements like these and location improvements are released every update, every big and every medium update. And there's still remaining problems. For example, in the 3 games I played, bots were still blocking me and they were still jumping in front of me. And I quickly read over the forum thread, and people, they also complained about bots being still stupid. So yeah, I guess this wasn't really tested, as quite usual with Darkflow, even despite the long delay and possible lots of time to test. But let's hope it's still an improvement, because yeah, there's nothing more annoying than playing a squad-based game and people constantly running in front of you. For example, in Hell Let Loose, people don't run in front of you because they know they die. There's friendly fire. So, and then you have to wait 5 minutes until you can spawn and run and so on. So yeah, people there actually make sure that they don't block each other. But here, this is sadly not the case, and the bots aren't that smart. Yeah, whatever. Alright, then we have the graphics interface. Now I'm going to give you a quick summary of all of the stuff, and then go to the graphics stuff that I promised. Regarding weapons, the slow as Japanese sniper rifles got made faster, which is very much needed because they were literally ridiculously, stupidly slow. It's not even funny. A weapon should never be 42 shots per minute. If it's yeah, that shouldn't be the case. Absolutely not. Then some premium weapons got a bit improved. The recoil of some stuff got improved. Now here's something that all the furries and fanboys and and similar phenotypes enjoy. Grenade launchers got nerfed. This is now the second or third, that is the third time they get nerfed. And it's multiple layers of nerfs. So let's listen. First, the damage they deal got reduced, and they were made slower to reload. And third layer, the area, the explosion radius also is smaller now. So, yep, they got nerfed once again. Why? Because random players complain. Now, it's understandable if BR2 players complain about down-tiered BR3 players using grenade launchers against them. Yeah, that doesn't make sense, or that's not balanced. So the smart decision would have been to just put grenade launchers into BR4. Because this is what these nerds don't understand. No Enlisted player that's using BR4 or even BR5 weapons can complain about grenade launchers. Like every single BR4 weapon, average BR is better than grenade launcher. And every BR5 weapon is overpoweredly unfair compared to grenade launchers. But nerds still whine and bitch and complain while using STGs, Fedorovs and FG42s. Yeah, you see, if nerds want to whine and be butthurt online about emotional nonsense, then yeah, they will always stay. Then, well, some crouching improvements, blah blah blah, and so on. Regarding vehicles, we get some things. A bunch of Japanese tanks got HE shells because they needed them. Japanese tanks were very, very weak. Then some little things. Now, something that's not written here is that the American M3 Lee, I think it's called. Yes. He's got 7 crew members now. Yep, this is insane. A tank with 7 crew members. This is quite good. This is literally an assaulter squad inside of a tank. Yeah, very good. Problem is the tank is, well, is slow as hell and quite easy to hit. But still, the tank is so big that even if you get penetrated a couple of times, you still have 2 or 3 soldiers left. So this is literally an assaulter squad on wheels now. Keep in mind, it's much worse armor than the Grand British version, but still interesting now. Definitely an interesting tank to play in BR2 for Americans. Yeah, they absolutely need it because currently only the Crusader is really strong on BR2 and the rest is quite underwhelming. And besides that, oh, why is it stuck? Okay. Besides that, here it is, yeah. Regarding graphics, yep, as I said, you can now profit. You can basically get free FPS and free improved graphic settings. Also, we get allegedly bullet marks on more surfaces. Problem is, we've been getting them for like 6 months already, and you can barely see them in-game. So, I also tested it myself. I was shooting on some wood surfaces and I didn't see any bullets. I didn't see any bullet marks. So this is, this should be working because the game really needs these bullet marks. They look very cool, but there currently are none. Though what I also have seen is if you shoot through bushes and onto grass, you see grass flying around. So yeah, this looks very cool. Hit marks on glasses and windows. Yeah, this is very cool. Very cool. Doesn't even need to be realistic. It just needs to look cool in my opinion. Obviously, if you shoot it a couple of times, the glass will break. But I guess if you do a weak SMG shot, it might create just something like that. Then lots of alleged AI improvements. Once again, we need to wait and see how much better they actually are. Most of it is just maps being improved, maps being fixed. Now, there's no new maps coming. There's only new types of missions on already existing maps. The big update that should come this month will likely contain a new map because every big Enlisted update comes with a new map. Question is, when does it come out? It should come out this month because these updates usually come out every 3 months. Though with all of these delays and with Darkflow working on other games and also being drunk and napping together with Joe Biden for the last 2 months, It could actually be that no big update comes out this month, though I wouldn't be too pessimistic. I actually think it can. There's a realistic chance it actually comes out like last days of the month, and then we get likely a new map and lots of new weapons and vehicles and stuff like that, and also new game features, because they usually bring new game features, new premium squads, and these premium squads usually introduce these new features, like rocket artillery came with well, rocket artillery squads, and the partisans, the guerrillas also came with the guerrilla squads, and so on. So yeah. Now, a very nice improvement is that you don't hear an annoying sound anymore when allies are hitting your soldiers, because this was literally very annoying, especially if noobs just kept spamming you and behind you, thinking it's funny, not understanding it's A, annoying, and B, it's highly distracting, because not only can't you hear stuff anymore, but you also have to assume that there's an enemy in front of you and someone shooting trying to hit the enemy. So you turn around, but there's no one there. But if there's an enemy somewhere elsewhere, you don't see him because you're looking in the wrong direction. So yeah, this is very good that it's not distracting anymore. Also, anyone who liked the gold order system, since the gold orders, well, the system is now abolished basically, you can't get gold orders anymore from the box. Yes, Darkflow didn't even let you get gold orders for the last 2 days where you can still buy with them, and instead you get fucking silver. Yeah, guess, literally no joke, today I had the gold order box. yeah, that's a problem, but whatever. Well, now for the graphics, I'm gonna quickly show you how to actually use these graphic settings, the new ones. First of all, you should do the benchmark, and then the game will calculate what is optimal for you, but it doesn't do it properly, so I will show you now how to actually improve it. First of all, it optimizes for 60 FPS. You do not want to play on 60, you want to play on minimum 85. This is the minimum where you can actually have a smooth game experience. Obviously more is better, but 85 is actually the least you should get. So what do you do now? Well, I recommend you play DirectX 11, not 12, because 12 doesn't really work with Enlisted. It just fucks up your game. Then, for those not knowing what is gamma, gamma makes your screen darker or not. If I want the game to look very cool, I play on 0.7. Problem is, I can literally not see anything anymore, especially not indoor, because every single corner is completely dark. So yeah, recently I increased it up to 0.8. Sweat Lords usually play like this, because then they can see everything on the map. It is retarded and cringy and makes the game look ugly, but yeah, this is how Sweat Lords play. So yeah, 0.8, like most players play like something like 1 to 9. This is quite, very bright. Those around 0.8 is a good balance between having a nice looking game and still seeing enough stuff, because the gamma making it darker makes it look more realistic, but obviously also harder to see stuff. And now comes the actual important stuff. You can, here's the thing, if you have an NVIDIA card, you want to go to NVIDIA DLSS. This is the setting you want. There are also other settings, though don't use them, use NVIDIA DLSS. If you have another graphics card, like an AMD card, you will have another setting here. I think it's called FSR or something. You can just look it up what your graphics card has. Just use ChatGPT, put in your graphics card name, and it will tell you what you have as a software system. Now for NVIDIA, you activate this, and now you can choose. What do you want? Do you want DLAA? This can make your game slower, so I would stay away from it. Or do you want ultra performance? This is the lowest graphics setting. What does it mean? Performance stands for speed, so more FPS. This is what confuses many people. They think performance means a better looking game. No, but it means a faster working game, but not better looking. This is worst graphics, but fastest performance. Or you can get performance. This is just quite a compromise. You get a little bit of good graphics and a fast game, or you do balanced. Balance is literally medium, around 50-50, or you go for quality. Here your DLSS won't try to make the game faster, but make the game better looking. Now, what's the difference between having DLSS activated with these settings or not? Well, if you don't have it activated, your game will be overall slower and worse looking. So you always should have it activated. Not having this activated literally just makes your game unnecessarily worse. And these settings you could theoretically experiment with, though I don't really recommend it, because the game from the benchmark you want to do these, but not necessarily change these. Another important thing is your FPS limiting, because as you can see, you can choose from 30 FPS to 360. By the way, it says Hertz, not FPS. What is Hertz? Hertz is the physical, from physics, the metric for repetitions per second. So 30 Hertz is 30 repetitions per second and so on. And Hertz refers to your screen usually, and FPS refers to what your GPU calculates. But it's basically the same. So here's how you choose your optimal Hertz setting. You look at what you just did with your settings, you click OK, and then you go into practice mode and jump around. You do not want to play a normal game, because if your game starts freezing or lagging or crashing, then you just, you want to avoid it. And then you see how it works, and then you, if it doesn't work well, just restart the game once or twice, because your GPU will need some time to adjust to these new settings. Also, since the GPUs actually use real AI features, they literally need some repetitions and some restarts to actually adjust themselves. And then you go back into your settings and you see, alright, what is the number of FPS you can see during games? Here in the main menu, the number will be lower than in-game usually. In-game, for example, I see with these super high settings, my old Boomer card barely gets to 80 or 90 FPS. Now, if this is your upper ceiling for your graphics card, you want to limit it around this number. Why do you want to limit it? Very simple. If you have an FPS limit, your GPU will never try to have more FPS than this. This makes it much better and easier for your GPU to calculate images, and it makes it more efficient. This means if you limit to a number, you are if you're usually around this number, with a limit you will be much more likely to actually reach this number and be constantly on this number than if you don't have a limit. If you don't have a limit, you likely will be fluctuating between 70 to 90, but with a limit you will very, very reliably be on the 80 to 85. So yeah, this limiting is very good. It also basically gives you a smoother performance and also gives you reliably around 5 to 10 FPS more than you usually would get. So this is very much underrated, very much needed. And 3 more settings. First of all, performance metrics does not change your performance. It literally just changes what is displayed here in these colored letters. So yeah. I prefer just let you show these FPS settings, so you can always see whether you get FPS drops or not. So you always know, right, is your Windows system crashing, or is it just a game? Or is it internet, whatever. Yeah, quite useful, because if it shows you high FPS, but you don't see high FPS on the screen, likely your internet. Then, if you go down here, you can see the new screen space weather effects. This is whether you get rain on your screen or not, or whether you get something like little blood on your screen. It's sadly not as well done as in other games where you can really see lots of bloods on the screen, especially if you get shot, but you sometimes get a little blood. And also all of these lens flare effects and so on. And then for those who like to take screenshots from within the game, you can take screenshots without the HUD, which is really cool, which is how you can create very nice images. For that I recommend this central setting, so not the compressed JPEG, but the uncompressed PNG, because this basically, for me, it roughly like it makes the pictures around 10 times as, like the file 10 times as large. So you basically get something like 10 times more resolution, which is really, really good. Because without that, you just get ugly small screenshots. With it, you get the really nice, good-looking screenshots. Of course, still depends on how your actual game looks like, but yeah, very much useful. And now for the end, I've been playing BR4 Germans recently, and I've noticed the following. You seem to almost never get down-tiered. You seem to almost always get up-tiered. But it's actually, well, here's the thing. It's not what it looks like. Because if you get up-tiered, well, first of all, if you see BR5 stuff in your game, you know you got up-tiered. Because BR5 players can only play with BR5 or BR4 players. Or BR3 players in rare situations. But they don't get dropped down into a BR3 game. Because there could be BR2 players. So they just get basically into a BR4 game where BR3, 4, or 5 players can be. And yeah, it sounds confusing because the BR rules are just stupid. They need to be smoother and simplified. But yeah, well, currently it's like this. But here's the important thing. In all of these BR5 games that I've seen, there's very few BR5 players. I'm constantly playing against IS2s or Super Pershings, yes, but it's usually just 3 or 4 BR5 players, and the rest is random BR3, BR4 players, but not even that, because they still run around with BR1 or BR2 equipment. So it's likely lots of new players with just 1 or 2 squads that have some high tier stuff, but this doesn't really make it a high BR game overall. So if you play BR4 right now, at least with Germans, what you will experience are mixed games. Literally just mixed games with a few BR5 players, and the rest is just not that dangerous. What does it mean for you? Well, it depends on the nation. Currently, BR4 is the worst BR in Enlisted because you can barely get clean games, as I just described. And many items in BR4 are also simply completely wrongly rated. For example, the German Jagd tanks, the tank destroyers are ridiculously stupidly rated. They need to be downranked all by 1. And some other things too, stuff like the Kirali. I was surprised myself, it's BR5. I was quite sure it's actually BR4 because it's literally not a BR5 weapon from power level. But yeah, stuff like that needs to be adjusted. And then BR4 can actually be fun. Currently it's not really dead. But there are still some cool things. So if you're interested in playing BR4, I recommend to just look at your nations and look at specific weapons you want to play. For example, the reasons for me to play BR4 is to play all the MG42s in the world and then combine it with Panthers. Because this is literally the most fun stuff to play. On BR5 you don't want to play Panthers, they are too weak, but on BR4 they're quite perfect. And you can even, if you know where to aim, one-shot BR5 tanks. So yeah, this is basically my experience in the last days with BR4. Other nations also have some cool stuff, especially Japanese. But BR4 Germans is usually what most players play because it has some really cool iconic stuff. Alright, let me know what you think and what your opinion on this update is. It's quite small, very small. They try to, well, add stuff by adding this random bike, but, well, you can theoretically buy this premium bike squad with 2 bikers, 1 engineer, and they come with a new cosmetic item, Japanese body armor. But, yeah, the problem is it's only available for the squad, it's not even normally in the game. Like, what the fuck? Who had this stupid idea? Like, this won't increase the chance for someone to buy this. Bikes are already barely in demand by Enlisted players. Especially not as long as they have the same ticket spawn cost as other squads. Alright, that's it. Let me know what you think, whether you like the update and whether you think it was worth the wait or not. Because we've waited a fuck ton of time. And of course, drop a like and subscribe if you're new and share this with your other Enlisted playing nerd friends. So everyone knows there's new content now, after the Enlisted player base being content starved for months. And of course, be expecting a new update, hopefully end of this month, with lots of new content, because this is what everyone is actually waiting for, and not these medium updates. Until soon, goodbye.